Hi everyone, welcome back to my Robert Zemeckis series. This latest episode is of course about Castaway, which was a film that came out late in 2000 that Zemeckis directed. As I mentioned in my previous video, there were two halves of the shoot, and in order to keep his crew occupied and not have them wandering off to other productions, Zemeckis had them stay on to shoot What Lies Beneath during the two halves. Tom Hanks is the main character. His name is Chuck Nolan. He works for Federal Express. He travels all over the world getting shipping outlets into place and getting them up to speed and making sure that they're running efficiently. His girlfriend in Memphis, Tennessee is played by Helen Hunt. And as the film opens, he's coming back for Christmas, but then has to leave again to go overseas over the Pacific Ocean. His plane goes down in the middle of the ocean, and he mans a raft and lands basically on an island where no one else is around and is there for quite a long time. During the period of time where he's trying to figure out exactly what it is that how he's going to survive there, figuring out how to, get the crabs and fish and coconuts and whatever else so you can scrounge up to eat, and learn to ration rainwater or whatever for him to drink. He finds a few of the FedEx boxes of washed up on shore along with him, so he opens them up, and in one of them he finds a volleyball, which of course is by the Wilson brand of sporting goods. So he paints a face on the volleyball and nicknames it Wilson and starts talking to it. Now I really like this idea a lot because in my screenwriting classes I've took, it's established that something that's very important to any cast of characters is what we call a window character. First of all, you have the main character, whoever it is that's trying to achieve the objective, and you have an opposition character, which is a character whose goal is in direct conflict with the mains, and then you've got the objective character. Like, for example, if a guy is trying to win the heart of a girl, then the girl would be the objective character. But the window character is a character who the main character talks about what's going on with him and what it is that he wants and what he's trying to do. Rather than give you voiceover narration, have him talk directly to camera or whatever, it's important that he or she speak to someone about what's happening with him and what he wants and what he's trying to do. Oftentimes, the objective character, the opposition character, and the window character can be the same person. They can take all three of those roles in relation to the main. And in any well-written script, each of the major characters has their own set of opposition and objective and window characters as well, depending on what the storyline is. You could treat each character as the main in their own story, basically, by giving them more well-rounded objectives and goals and what have you. That's something that I learned. Anyway, Wilson's important because Tom Hanks needs a window character. He needs someone to talk to other than just muttering to himself or narrating his experience or whatever. There's no narration in this movie. As a matter of fact, there's hardly any music at all. The score doesn't start until very late in the picture. It's just silence from then on out. But in enabling him to create a character for him to talk to, this imaginary friend named Wilson on the island with him, it solves two problems. First of all, it tells you what he's planning and what he's doing because he talks to the volleyball about it. But also it keeps him from going crazy. He has something to do other than just take care of himself and survive day to day. He has a kind of a person to take care of, to look after and talk with. It keeps him from going, bonkers, out there all by himself. So that's a good thing. So he's stuck there for a few years, and he's unable to leave the island because when he tries to use the inflatable raft to leave, the waves are too big, crashing in. The tide coming into the island, they're crashing in, and he can't. Even if there was a ship passing by, he couldn't get to it because the waves are too strong. But after a few years, the tide brings in a section of porta-potty wall, which he decides he can use as a sail. So he decides to create a makeshift raft out of logs and attach the sail to it and see if he can get past those waves and just sail out and try and meet someone. So that's the basic premise of the film. Tom Hanks was nominated for Best Actor. I forget if it was nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it was nominated for Best Director or anything like that. The only award I recall it be nominated for is Best Actor. And Tom Hanks, of course, lost to Russell Crowe that year. Russell Crowe won Best Actor for Gladiator. This is a very well-admired movie, but I'm not, it's not one of my favorite Zemeckis films. I think that it's going for something kind of profound, and for whatever reason it just doesn't really connect with me emotionally the way it ought to. I think part of the problem is that it is the same issue that I have with Contact, and that is that it takes itself really seriously and is going for some sort of big, meaningful message, and I don't know, it just doesn't quite sit with me as well. Tom Hanks has this whole monologue about what he was thinking, what he was feeling, towards the end of the picture, you know, and I suppose that's supposed to be moving in some way, but, you know, it just wasn't. Not that it's a bad film, it's very well made, but it, I don't know, just didn't affect me the way that it ought to. And I think part of the problem with it is that there isn't enough time spent in any one period of film. You have the period of time before he crashes on the island, you have the period of time in which he arrives and is getting acclimated to the island, and you have the period of time years later when he's still on the island after a long period of time but is now preparing to leave. You know, the various sections of the movie I felt were a little bit too short, actually. Some of them actually whipped by pretty fast, which is a little strange considering there's only one character and not a lot is happening. Yeah, I think it probably would have worked better as a novel. I don't know. But anyway, not a bad film, but not one of my favorites. It just didn't, you know, affect me emotionally. I didn't have that emotional connection to it the way I have to a lot of my favorite films. So, Castaway, there you go. On my next video, which I'll be posting in, I think, 3 days. Wednesday, yes, Wednesday. I'm going to be devoting that video to the 3 performance capture animated movies that Zemeckis directed following Castaway, which of course were The Polar Express from 2004, Beowulf from 2007, and I think from 2009 or 2010, Christmas Carol, starring Jim Carrey. So I hope to see you then. If you've got any thoughts on Castaway, want to share your opinion, leave a comment or do your own video response. If you attach it to this video, I'll include it with my Robert Zemeckis playlist, the link to which is below in the description. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.